Okay, so this is a decent setup on the SPY super system for the SPY or the Qs, if you want to take them. I took a few SPY puts here, not a big position, but I took a few SPY puts. And I'm looking for additional stocks as well to trade. Again, Adobe was a beautiful one this morning that Roger called that. That was really excellent. Really nice profit in Adobe. Notice how it's gotten choppy since then. SPY is a pretty nice short here right now. We'll see where it goes. Again, I'm kind of watching the support levels on the SPY. These are horizontal support levels. 660.22, 660.22 is the next level on that. So it's about 70 cents lower. I'll probably be out before it gets there. If it keeps moving down, I'll just take profits in it. I used the 662 puts expiring today on the SPY. I paid $263 for them. Right here off of this 8 exponential moving average. I get in somewhere fairly close to the bottom of this candle, maybe midway down that candle. Again, notice the pivot point coming up here. I'm going to have to take profits on this pretty quick now. Pivot point going to be likely to be support on the SPY here. Don't know how much of a bounce we're going to get here though. Pivot point likely to offer some support here, because the SPY is still green for the day, but not by an awful lot. Little bounce in the SPY, little bounce in the Qs. They're both basically mimicking each other here right now. So I want to see if the SPY holds the 8. See if it doesn't get below there. Stays below there, I mean. SPY trying to bounce here. I missed that pivot point when I took the trade. I don't know why I didn't see it. And SPY, I'm still short the SPY here. It's going against me, but I'm going to see if this 8. Again, I've got this pivot point here, which I didn't see when I took the trade. I probably wouldn't have taken it if I saw that, but I'm I'm still in it. I just want to see if this 8 holds. 8.15 together actually hold for short. If it moves head back down again, I got a sell order in on it right now for 285. I get in for 263. I get a sell order in at where is it? 285. Yeah, 285. So I'm about even right now on it. But again, I want to see if it'll pull down just a bit here toward the pivot point. Pivot point will give you 20-25 cent profit, which I'll be happy with on this trade. HD with a little bounce here. Adobe also bouncing up toward the VWAP. SPY right up to the 8. And Q's also right to the 8. So yeah, if we get too much of a move here in the SPY, I'll take it off and take a loss on it. I'm down about 15 cents right now. Hey Doug, what bar did you take the SPY on? It was in this bar somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but it was on this breakdown below here. Probably down closer to the midpoint to below the midpoint to where I get in. So that's why I'm underwater on this just a bit right now. Please repeat the SPY order or write it down on your notepad on the screen, maybe. There's no point in me writing down the SPY order, John. It's too quick. This is a SPY super system trade. By the time I actually take the time and write it down here, the trade's it's going to be gone. I'm either going to be out of it for a loss or out of it for a win. So I can't post the SPY super system trades. I can call them out. That's all I can do because they're too quick. You got profited 10 cents to get out, Doug. Yeah, I had a sell order in there. I tried, and I didn't get filled on it. I probably missed it by 3 cents on this pull down here, and now I'm I would say I'm stuck in the trade, but I'm in the trade. But this still is a bearish move here. I'm going to stick with this thing as long as it stays below the 15 EMA right here. Again, we still got the 8 moving down, although it's flattening a little bit, and we got the 15 moving down. We're still in a bearish trend. I do have this pivot point down here as support. On the SPY, the entry I took, John, I can tell you that. If I can, let me go back to my platform. Because these things happen very, very quickly in these SPY super system trades. I took the 662 puts expiring today, and I paid $263 for it, and it's $243 right now. 662 expiring day. I always usually take one strike in the money for the puts or the calls. Expiring today, except once I get past about 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon, I'll switch to tomorrow's. Not that I'm going to hold it overnight, but I switch to tomorrow's expiration to allow myself to mitigate some of the time decay if it goes against me. So the SPY's pulling back again from the 8 right now, so at this point in time, up a couple of pennies. I want to see if we can get close to that pivot point. Market internal is still coming in. They're chopping, but they're still coming in. They're basically trading very similar to the SPY action.
volume on the name, a tweet out there by Citron posted in the news desk. Says the nuclear monopoly, the center of Trump's nuclear energy dominance. Trump just made AMTM the most important company in America that nobody's heard of. AMTM, more color on that in the news desk.
SPY just kind of gyrating around here right now. I'm up a little bit on this trade. Again, I'd like to see it flush toward that pivot point. It's really not doing too much of anything here right now. Again, SPY still holding the 8 here. The 8 still above it. All right, I took my SPY trade off. I made 12 cents on it. I mean, I don't like this pivot point down here, so I took a $12 profit per contract. So I'm out of that one. I'm just going to look for some other setups right now. Again, I don't want to mess with a SPY with a pivot point this close. So I'm going to look for other stocks to trade. But I hung around and did make some money on it. You see, I switched to tomorrow's expiration at about 1 p.m. What time zone? That's the Eastern time zone. About 3 hours. 1:30, somewhere around lunchtime. Depends on what the price action looks like. If I think the price action is fairly steep and it's likely to, it's not just choppy, but it's accelerating, I'll likely go ahead and still take today's. But if there's any likelihood that I might get a little bit of a chop, if it's choppy, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the next day's just to mitigate my time decay. If the stock, if we get some sideways movement in it. Okay. See if we have any questions. Again, I'm out of my SPY trade. Hey, Doug. Oh, you're welcome. Again, I'm out of the SPY for a 12-cent gain, and if I didn't see this damn pivot point here when I get into the trade, I wouldn't have taken it otherwise. Because that max I could have made on this thing was about 35 cents. That's not enough as far as I'm concerned. And now it's bouncing, so it's a good thing I took it off. All right, so I'm out of there. I'm just kind of watching the market churn. I'm going to look for some individual stocks to try to intraday trade. We had that Adobe trade. That was beautiful. Really was beautiful. And see if we can't find some more like that. HD still looks like a short to me here. Adobe probably still looks like a short, but it did bounce up. You see it's bounced right to the pivot point. Getting a little churny. Boeing also came right down to a horizontal support line that was pointed out by Maxim. He had it right on the money as far as that horizontal support line was concerned. CGIO coming back down again. Market getting a little undecided here now. AXGN, Purdue for on 12.5. AXGN. Thanks, Ari. Yep. Well, yeah. This is a nice. Technically, this is really a nice setup on AXGN. Again, Ari says that it has a PDUFA on 12.5, so a couple weeks, and but that's a nice move in AXGN. Technically you've got a beautiful bull flag with the stock getting extended from the 8, so basically just kind of moving sideways, volume coming down, and now we're trying to break out. And we don't really have high volume like you'd like to see yet, but that's a nice one. Again, that's not much volume on this thing today. 216,000 shares. This doesn't trade an awful lot of shares. Average about 833,000. But technically that's a really, really nice setup on AXGN. For these, we like low volume. Well, we've got it. But it's a nice setup, AXGN. Listen, it's not a fast moving stock, right? Here's $25. It's 25. It only moves pennies. You know, ATR is about less than $1. You can see the ATR has come down pretty hard here. I use two different ATRs here. I use the 10-day range right here. So the 10-day range has fallen because this has moved sideways so much. This is the 50-day range here, and so that goes back 50 days. So you can see it's holding up pretty well. SPY bounced up right to the 15 now. So it'll be interesting to see if the SPY holds the 15 here now. I hope the chatter I'm giving you on these trades that I take and don't take, and why I'm in it and why I'm out of it, and all of these, like the Adobe one and the SPY trade, I hope that you find that helpful as far as trading these things. You know, the technical setups, learning how to trade them, or at least the way I trade them, and because I try to be fairly transparent about these things. And again, as I pointed out, I didn't see this pivot point when I get in the trade. I would have taken it off, but I did make some money on it. $12 a contract. You know, not exactly earth shattering, but I guess it'll pay for lunch. Doug, you find it extremely helpful. I appreciate that, and you're finally improving day trading. Yeah, you've been at it. You've listen. Hey John, thank you. I think really you'll feel more and more confident. There's a lot of elements that go into these trades when we take them. When I talk about the SPY super system trade, I try to talk about the context of what the setup looks like on a 5-minute chart. What's the trend look like? You also have to look at the daily chart and get an idea where it is as far as that's concerned. And then you're looking at what the market's doing overall. There's a lot of elements that go into these things that are very hard sometimes to define, because certain ones are more important on certain days than other days. So I try to explain that as we go through the trades. But the whole point of using this SPY super system off the 8, the 15, the VWAP, this whole methodology is excellent. Again, I was looking at the results yesterday on these SPY super system trades that I've had. You know, these are my own trades. These are the trades that I've taken because I can't post these. But the profit factor on these right now is 4.63. That's really high. Profit factor 4.63 is very high profit factor. Win ratio is about 86% on these things. But the profit factor is high because our losses are fairly small, because you get into them right at the support resistance level. But they're intraday trades. They're fairly quick. You got to watch them, and they're not for everybody. Not for everybody. But I like to use the SPY super system trades, not just on the SPY and the Qs and the IWM or the futures, but also on stocks. That was a SPY super system trade we took on Adobe today, based on the SPY super system criteria. It's funny, Doug. It's very. The thing is with this, you have to learn it. Doug says he's learned these. He's getting much better at his day trading on these things. But you have to understand that when you're trying to learn something, if you think about learning something outside of trading, when you're trying to learn something, you don't have as much emotional impact on those kind of learning situations generally because you don't have this money at stake. You have this money at stake in trading. All of a sudden, trying to learn becomes much more difficult because you're impacted by the emotions, much more emotions than if you were trying to learn how to fly, drive a car or fly a kite or whitewater raft, whatever it is you're trying to do. You don't have as much emotion in those as you do with trading your own money, and that's what makes trading so difficult for so many people, and why so many people just can't do it. I can give everybody a bunch of traders the exact same setups here, explain to them why they work, how we use them, and a very high percentage of them are still going to lose money because they can't get past their trading mentality and their emotional involvement in the trade, which is why I say please don't look at your P&Ls, just watch the price action. Maxim, the details in the SPY Supers are very helpful, especially when trades goes wrong way. Yeah, and that's the most important thing, because it's easy when everything works in your favor. Everybody can make money when the market's just going up every candle after candle after candle after candle, and day after day after day after day. But the market doesn't do that very often. You mostly get all this crappy type trading sometimes, and that's where people get bored. They start taking trades, and the next thing they know, their account's blown out of the water. Yep, the emotional component, Doug, it's definitely a, that's why paper trading is to me it's a good way to test out, to get used to trading a platform. It's not going to reflect what your actual results are going to be. I know so many traders who started paper trading. They trade for 6 months. They tell me, I'm going to give up my job. I'm going full time. I'm up $300,000 trading paper. 2 months later they're gone. It's not the same thing. You have no emotion. You're not getting the same fills on paper trades that you get on real trades. That's why anytime I test out anything, everything I test that I try for a strategy, I'm using my own real money in real time. No spec accounts or whatever they call them. I don't sim accounts. I don't trade any of those things, or paper accounts. Nothing, because having your own money at stake is the only way you can really make a determination of whether this strategy is going to work or not. Yeah, thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. Doug says the having to watch technicals and not P&Ls was one of the best lessons that I've taught. It's very important. Hey, Finn. I'm not sure about it. Pronounce your name. It's Thien. Anyway, you can see the setup on Adobe for the SPY Super System trade. But what was your thought process and method around finding and entering the trade on Adobe? Well, I didn't actually find the trade on Adobe. Roger did. One of the members here pointed it out. That he said it was this morning. He said it was weak. It was a bearish setup, which we looked at on the daily chart. We said, you're right. It's a bearish setup. So when we have a bearish setup like that in Adobe, what do we look for? Well, we like to take it short, but we want to get a good entry. All right. Now the market was moving up when Adobe was coming down this morning, so we look for an entry on Adobe. And over here, we find this breakdown. You see this Adobe here? See, it's coming down this morning, right? We knew it was bearish. The daily chart has a bearish doji sandwich set up on it. So Doug was watching it. Not Doug. Roger was watching it, and he caught it right here as it broke below. See the 15 sloping down. See the 8 rolling over here. See the stock coming down below the 15, and the VWAP and the 8 right here breaks down. We took it right here. And this was perfect. All right, this is because you're getting in right at, if this moved against you to the upside, you'd be out. If it went above the 15, you would have taken a very small loss. Instead, we rode this thing down for a really beautiful trade. That's what the SPY Super System is, and that's what we were looking for. Again, I saw when he pointed it out, I saw it, but he spotted it, not me. That's why we have so many really good traders in this room that are looking for exactly the same thing I'm looking for, these high probability trade setups, because I can't see them all. I mean, I'm answering questions, I'm looking at other stocks, and that right there, of anybody who took Adobe, you know, you can thank Roger for that. Send him a check. Can I clarify? Not getting the same fills and paper account. Yes, I'm saying the data isn't accurate, Gary. I'm saying when you go into Thinkorswim with a paper account or any with a paper account, and you put an order in to get an option, you're going to get filled, and it's not going to be the fill that you would have get filled at if you were trying to get real money. They're going to be much better. Same thing when you exit the trade. TN, thank you. Appreciate that, TN. I'll try to remember that. We have a lot of folks from all over the world here, and it's you know, sometimes I mess up their names, but I try to remember them. But we have an awful lot of people here.
Members, Trump is currently speaking, delivering remarks at the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum. That link in the news desk.
So you get Trump speaking at the the Saudi Investment Forum is going on right now. So there'll be some chatter coming out of there. We'll wait and see what happens. I'll be watching some of the AI stocks. This coin's still coming down. Bitcoin really taking a pounding today. Coin's still coming in here. It's actually a pretty good short on coin. It's very expensive. The options are very expensive on coin, but it's really breaking down. And it did a doji sandwich set, bearish doji sandwich setup yesterday as well. But it's down quite a bit today. It's down $11 already. So I'm not going to chase it. See, it's moving sideways. Well, about 12:09 right now. Interesting day in the market. Again, market moved down this morning. A little bit, not very much. And now it's moved up, and it moved up strongly. Moved up toward the 50-day moving average, never got there, and now we're just in this seesaw pattern right now in the SPY. Big, nice move up, a big flush red candle here. Again, it still looks like a short setup to me. Boeing held that high volume line. And again, right of Adobe, that was a really nice trade. I didn't try to enter it again. I'm glad I didn't. SPY coming up on the pivot point now, so this is an interesting level. Again, I'm going to look for some more stocks here at this point, see what I can find for intraday trades. WSHAP is flying up, Harry. WSHP. Yeah, jeez. This is a new We Shop Holdings WSHP. Uh, this is a new issue. I mean, it just came out the other day. It came out 11/14. It's it's up to 436% here. You have no technicals to base it on. It's all just price action. Every time you see that little dash line, that's a halt. This keeps moving up. There'll be no options on it. There's only shares. Good luck. It's traded. Not a lot of volume on this thing. I mean, not a lot of volume. Today it's traded 125,000 shares, and it's moved up 436%. That is like you're talking about crossing the Grand Canyon on a wire without a net. No idea why this thing is moving up like that. It's got 8 million float. I don't know what's going on with this thing. This is That's a crazy stock. I'm not going to mess with it. If you look at the chart here with volume, all right. If you look at this chart, okay. So here's it is right here, trading at $661. I'm sorry, 554.14 right there. Okay. So the big volume candle, not really, 11,000 shares, right? So it goes from 52.82 to up here at gone up $30 here on this crap volume. 1.7 thousand, push the stock up $10. Bring out the crap table. Maximum CAH looks strong. Set in a load and D1 compression break. Thank you, CAH. Yeah, Cardinal Health. Yeah, it's a nice chart. Cardinal Health is another nice chart. You see this, his earnings popping up, nice move here, just grinding up slowly, right off of the 8 exponential moving average right here. That's a nice setup for a long right there. Very nice chart. Doesn't move an awful lot. I mean, it does quite a bit because it's expensive stock, but that's a very nice setup. And he's setting an alert on a breakout here. You can see where the breakout's going to be. The former owner could be doing this to WSHP. I don't know anything about it. All I know is I don't know anything about it, and I'm certainly not going to put my head in that vice because I don't know what's causing it. Could it keep going? Sure, it could. I mean, look at this: 177 to $212. It's that's gambling. I mean, that's just, you don't know why this is going up. Now we're down to $152. Good luck. Quick exit and arrest, probably. That's likely what's going to happen, man. That is ridiculous. Please stay away from that thing. There's a SPY bouncing off the pivot point here now. All right. I'm going to look for some trades. Microsoft looks like a decent setup. I'm kind of waiting for it to move back up to a support level or resistance level. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice setup on Microsoft for a short right here. And here's the 5-minute chart on it. You see how it's breaking down, following the 8. Kind of want to get it right off the. This was a good entry right here for this break through the 15, but it's bouncing back again a little bit. Expensive stock, by the way. The options are going to be pretty expensive on it. In the market, you notice the market's getting really squirrely right here down at this pivot point with, and we get all kinds of resistance above here, the 8, the 15, the VWAP up here. This is a mess. We don't know, the market's not going to help us at all right now. So we got to try to find some stocks to trade. I'm looking for some shorts to trade right now, but I'm really not finding anything tremendously helpful or tremendously, nothing I really like a lot.
an INTC, talk off some positive comments out by Citi.
SPY still fighting with the pivot point right there. Okay, Microsoft has a decent short setup here. We don't really have much market help at all right now. Microsoft still looks like a pretty nice short setup. Putting in a little bit of, kind of getting a lot of tails here right now. Just trying to stay below this 8 exponential moving average. I got to take a look at the daily chart and see what we get for support on it. Yeah, 493.03 is the support that is broke below. 482.49 is the next one. 482.49 on Microsoft. That's a decent short setup on Microsoft. Again, if we can get a failure right here at the 8, it's just kind of choppy. Notice how choppy it's gotten here now. Hey, Rachel. Zim is a good time spread candidate. You're looking at 17 cents. Okay, I'll take a look at that on Zim. I haven't looked yet for time spreads. I'll take a look. Thank you. Is the SPY pivot point you were referencing the close from yesterday? I'm not sure exactly where it comes from. It's calculated. Most of the time, it's very close to the previous day's close. If we go over and look here, you can see where it came from right here. Right, so there is, that was the open this morning. It's pretty much close to yesterday's close, yeah. Not always the case, though. Not always the case. It can be calculated a little bit differently, but that's where it is. Palantir, pretty weak here. Pretty weak on the daily chart. Another good bearish setup right here in Palantir. A little too far down for me to chase it right this second, but a bounce up here would get me interested. As target also pulling away too much. Roblex, man, it's above the pivot point, so I can't take it. FMC, probably a doji sandwich setup. FMC. Thanks, Maxim. Yeah, it is kind of. I mean, this stock doesn't move very much. This is FMC here. Looks like that. You can see that the price movement is pretty slow here. We've hit quite a bit of volume, but that is a doji sandwich setup right here. See, But this candle only goes from 1368 to 1295. It's only about 70 cents. So, but that is absolutely a doji sandwich setup right there. And this would be a doji sandwich continuation if it needs to move about as much as this candle. So it's got some downside to it, is what he's saying, which he's absolutely right.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Oh, that's so good.
Microsoft, entertaining, trying to get into it, but not yet.
Yeah.
Also entertaining getting lunch here pretty soon too.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick look at the time spreads to see if there's anything out here. See if Zim looks good. Let's take a look. At least to me. Let's see.
Oh my God.
Okay, I see Zim here. Yeah, it looks pretty good just on the specs I'm looking at here. It's a relatively cheap stock. It's only trading around $17.
Oh my God.
Not a lot of earnings tonight of any with decent options.
Did you know if you, oh, sure, to see on, right? They're not open today.
BBWI, also an interesting one. I'm going to take a look at the BBWI in Zim.
Never bothered me. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't stop. Yeah, but there's still time. Well, she's gonna be gone. Well, she's not gonna be gone. She's gonna, I don't know what she's digging, but I feel like, well, let me talk to her. Because she's not going anywhere, until like, I don't know, before Christmas, maybe that. Yeah, that's not bad. So. Oh, no, come on, cut her out. I just heard, that's all. Not that much. Yeah. No, no, you were. Oh, I know. Well, okay. So I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna send her a text. And also, you might be able to get some help from Russell, the guy that, kid's guy, yeah. Yeah, because he's gonna do her for Thanksgiving and for, what do you call it? He's a hell of a nice guy, I always thought. But, you know, he did work for me one day, he was supposed to come back, but he hadn't. You know, I'm kind of flexible, he helps out these old ladies, people in kids can't get ready, so I think, you know, my stuff can work. They take priority, but you're gonna be seeing him the next day too, so I can ask him to. Yeah, because he's around, spent a long time in, you know, this part of the world. See, because he lives in Somerville, so he's a backup option.
So yeah, Zim and BBWI are both potential time spreads. Zim and BBWI.
Yeah.
They're both pretty much in the same category as far as they're about 43-44% implied volatility difference.
Let me talk to her too.
Both relatively inexpensive. I'm going to put a BBWI in right now and see what it's going for. I'm using the 2150s. There's not much volume on these things, so I have to tell you there's not much volume on these things. And the spread's pretty wide, so I'm going to take a look and see what it looks like if I try to go ahead and sell the 2150 for this week and buy the 2150 for next week.
Oh, I know. Figure it out. I would like to know. He already said.
It's about 12 cents. See, this is a problem. If you paying commissions, this is going to be tough, because there's not going to be a bunch of profits. Even if you take a profit, a bunch of profits going to be getting eaten up by the premium, by the commission. So, but I don't even know what I can get filled at it. I'm going to try it and see, and then I'm going to take a look at Zim. All right, so I get filled in BBWI for 12 cents for time spread. All right, that's the 2150s calls. Sell the 2150 for this week, buy the 2150 for next week, 12-cent difference. The anticipated move in BBWI is average move 8%, 8.4. This expected move 13%. Number time it beats 12.5 times, 12.5%. Very limited. Zim, probably going to be even a little bit cheaper if we do Zim. But I did now. I'm sorry now. I did. I did BBWI for time spread. I'm going to put that in there. But again, keep in mind these are cheap. If you pay commissions, this is going to be tough, right? Because you're going to have quite a bit of commissions even coming off your profits. Because we'll probably sell it for 15 cents, 15, 8, 16 cents, something like that.
Okay. Are you gonna be home for a while? Okay. Yeah, I just finished working. Have to go for, I'm gonna eat breakfast.
I'm going to just put Zim in and see what it's going for as well.
Walking Constitution.
Microsoft coming down, by the way. Decent entry right there on Microsoft. I missed it, but that's a good one. Zim would be using 17 calls on Zim. Selling this week 17, buying next week 17. 15 cents on Zim. 15 cents on Zim. So both of these are pretty cheap. They both are fine. Zim is fine. BBWI is fine. You can take them both. You can take none of them. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I've got my position on already on Zim. BBWI. I'm going to think about Zim. Zim, is a shipping company. BBWI is a specialty retail company. With BBWI, we have to remember that Walmart's got earnings tonight or tomorrow. That might impact it. But I put BBWI on. I'm going to go put it on here on BBWI. But remember, this is cheap. So if you pay commissions, it's going to impact it. Selling November 21st. 2150s. Selling November 21st, 2150 calls, buying the November 28th, 2150 calls for 12 cents. If you pay commissions. So profits will be eaten up by some of it. So this is something to be cautious of, right? I took it. I don't pay any commissions on option, so I'm in it. So, but anyway, I put BBWI time spread. Microsoft bouncing. I'm going to be looking for stocks, but I'm going to get some lunch here in a minute. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and close down the YouTube feed so I can get some lunch. Again, thank you everybody from YouTube. I appreciate everybody being in there today. Again, we have a decent morning this morning. We took profits on Costco. That debit spread we took, that was nice. $50 a contract, we made that. We had a nice SPY Super System trade today. I took a SPY Super System trade on the SPY for just a small $12 profit per contract. But we took Adobe. Adobe was a beautiful trade. That was another SPY Super System trade off of a 5-minute chart, but $200 per contract profit on the Adobe trade that was called out in the room. Really, really nice. All right, so I'm going to grab some lunch and AMTM above 50 SMA. Yeah, AMTM. Again, this was news out of Citron this morning on AMTM. Very bullish news on Citron. I don't know if it's true or not. Who knows? But it's bouncing up here pretty strongly right now. It's above the 100-day moving average. PBO. It's PBO, but this is a PBO on news here, by the way. This is a news PBO. I'm very cautious about this thing. Citron does get reactions when they publish something, and I saw the news on it, but I don't know enough about it to know whether it's something I want to take. So I'm not going to take it. But there it is, right there. He's pointing out on this AMTM again. Citron with a positive blurb on it this morning. That's what's causing that bounce. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Again, rightlinetrading.com. Anybody over in YouTube wants to get into the room, get into the alert service, or get the SPY software, SPY Super System software, which is excellent. If you look how that worked for us on Adobe this morning, I mean it was like this is textbook. It was down for the day. It was coming off a doji sandwich set up on the daily. It came down. We waited for it. It broke below this VWAP and this 15 and the 8 right here on a pop out of the box. We took it right here, wrote it right down. $200 per contract profits on that Adobe move. Very, very nice. And that's the SPY Super System in action for you right there. All right, everybody on YouTube, have a great afternoon. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. We got by the way, the FOMC minutes from the last meeting are being released today at 2 o'clock. Don't think we'll see too much movement out of that, but you never know. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon and trade well.